Today we will prove that America never actually went to space. Well, is it true? Did America really fake the moon landing? Yes, it sounds crazy, but there's compelling evidence. Let's start. Number 9. Conflicting testimonies. While the United States claims to have successfully landed astronauts on the moon during the Apollo missions, there are conflicting testimonies from former NASA employees and astronauts. Some individuals have come forward with accounts that contradict the official narrative, casting doubt on the authenticity of the moon landings. These discrepancies have fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. While conflicting testimonies raise questions, they do not definitively prove or disprove the reality of the moon landings. Number 8. Radiation effects. While skeptics question why astronauts didn't suffer from radiation sickness or other adverse effects during their missions, scientists offer explanations rooted in physics and engineering. Yes, the Van Allen belts, regions of intense radiation surrounding Earth, pose a threat to spacecraft and humans. However, spacecraft, like those used in the Apollo missions, are designed with protective measures, such as shielding, to minimize radiation exposure. Moreover, astronauts traveled through the belts quickly, spending mere minutes traversing the most intense parts. Number 7. Missing data tapes. NASA's admission of missing or accidentally erased original tapes from the mission has fueled skepticism. Critics argue that this conveniently obstructs independent verification of the mission's authenticity. On one hand, supporters of the moon landing point to overwhelming evidence and testimonials from astronauts. They argue that despite the missing tapes, extensive documentation and corroborating evidence from various sources validate the achievement. Conversely, skeptics find the absence of crucial data tapes suspicious, casting doubt on the entire mission. Number 6. Slow-motion footage. Some skeptics claim that the footage of astronauts on the moon was actually shot on Earth and slowed down to mimic the moon's gravity. They point to slow-motion footage in which the astronauts' movement appears slower than expected, and suggest that this is a result of manipulating the film's speed. Critics argue that if the images were real, the movements should appear more natural and consistent with the moon's low gravity. Number 5. Lack of impact crater. Conspiracy theorists point to the absence of impact craters as evidence. Allegedly, when the lunar module landed on the moon, it should have created a visible crater upon impact due to the lack of an atmosphere on the moon to slow it down. However, the fact that such a crater was not seen in the photographs of the alleged moon landing led some to believe that the incident was completely fictional. They claim that if the landings were real, there would be clear evidence of impact in the form of a crater. The absence of any expected disturbance on the lunar surface raises doubts about the reality of the missions. Number 4. Flag movement. Some skeptics claim that the flag appears to be waving in the wind, which seems impossible since the moon has no atmosphere. This discrepancy has led some to speculate that the footage of the flag was actually shot on Earth, casting doubt on the authenticity of the moon landing. Despite scientific explanations explaining that the movement was caused by astronauts manipulating the flagpole and causing it to fluctuate, the debate continues among conspiracy theorists who question the accuracy of NASA's moon missions. Number 3. Inconsistent shadows. Skeptics say they have identified inconsistencies in shadow directions and focus on the lighting in the iconic moon landing photos. According to their analysis, shadows in the images indicate the presence of multiple light sources, similar to studio lighting, rather than the singular source of sunlight expected on the lunar surface. These skeptics suggest that artificial lighting was a means to achieve a moon landing by simulating the harsh lunar environment in the controlled environment of a studio. Number 2. Van Allen belts. These belts, which consist of charged particles trapped by the Earth's magnetic field, are believed to pose a significant threat to the health of astronauts. Critics claim NASA has never found a way to safely navigate between these belts, raising doubts about the feasibility of manned missions to the moon. They argue that intense radiation could be fatal to astronauts and prevent them from reaching their destination safely. Despite advances in space technology, skeptics argue that Van Allen belts remain an insurmountable obstacle to humanity's space exploration. Number 1. Lack of stars. The absence of visible stars in photographs taken by astronauts on the moon has fueled skepticism about the authenticity of the moon landings. Critics argue that the lack of stars contradicts what we know about space, where stars are visible even in the absence of atmosphere. They suggest that if the moon landings were genuine, stars should have been clearly visible in the dark sky. Some believe that this absence of stars indicates that the moon landings were staged in a studio with artificial lighting, where the stars couldn't be replicated realistically. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel to be informed about new videos.